We're going to convert the equation of a parabola into vertex form, given another form here. So we're going to start out with 4x minus y squared equals 2y plus 13. Now, one of the big things you might notice right away is that we have x to the first power and we have y to the second power. Usually we're used to having y to the first power and x being squared. So we're going to take a look at what this looks like to have vertex form when our variables are switched. So first of all, let's get our x term on the left and our y terms on the right. So we can go ahead and write that just like this. And then if we're going to simplify and solve for just x to get it as a function like we normally would solving for y, we're going to divide both sides by 4. And so now we're left with x equals something. X equals 1/4 y squared plus 1/2 y plus 13/4. And since we're trying to put it in vertex form, we're going to have to complete the square. So that's why the parentheses are set up the way they are here, so that we can figure out what term we need to put in there to complete the square. We always remember when we complete the square that the squared term needs to be by itself. So in this case, it's y squared that needs to be by itself. So we're going to factor out that 1/4 from the area inside the parentheses. So factor that out front, we're left with a y squared. To factor out a 1/4 from 1/2 y, we're going to be left with 2y, and then everything outside the parentheses remains unaffected. Go down a little bit here, and now we're ready to actually complete the square. We always remember that we add 1/2 b squared in the parentheses, and then add that opposite outside of the parentheses, multiplied by our term out front. So, as an example here, we have 2 divided by 2 is 1, 1 squared is 1, so we're going to add 1 inside of the parentheses here. Now when we do that, we have to add its opposite outside of here, so we're going to subtract 1 times this coefficient out front, so that in the end, we don't actually change the equation. So we have the 1 squared, which is 1, that we added in the parentheses here. Since it was multiplied by that 1/4 out front, we subtracted it here, and now we've done no net change to the equation. Continue to go down, and we can finally solve it by taking the area in the parentheses here and solving it down to y plus 1 squared. On the outside here, if we add these terms together, 13/4 minus 1/4 times 1, which is just 1/4, is going to be 12/4, which is just 3. So in this case, putting it in vertex form, we have 1/4 as our coefficient out front, y plus 1 squared plus 3.